Hello, friends. Welcome. Welcome to GBH Amplifies. I'm Tracy Chang. I am the chef owner of Pagu Restaurant in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And today I have the pleasure of welcoming my dear friend, mentor, entrepreneur, Renaissance man, World War II veteran. So many things. Marvin Gilmore. He is 101 years young. He is an activist, a community leader, and he has done so much for our community here in Cambridge and Boston, as well as for the United States of America. So thank you, Marvin. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
What did you bring here on your jacket?
Those were hard-earned medals, but one that I'm proud of is the highest on the Legion of Honor. And that is when soldiers have been, I guess, doing the right thing, I guess, fighting the war. And of course, from the White House, this is the Legion of Honor.
Many honors, Marvin. And I'm so excited to share you with everyone here today, as well as with all of the viewers online. Marvin, tell me a bit about your family, your mom, and growing up here in Cambridge.
Well, I guess I owe it to my mother. We migrated from Ohio and from Alabama. They were both, my grandmother and my mother
There she is.
was born in slavery. And so we came all the way up north to escape slavery in the early days. So we landed here in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So I'm here today out of my family's slavery, and I'm the last of the living heirs of my family.
And when you were young, before you were just a teenager, you were already working, and you had a bunch of different kind of odd jobs, right? You were driving, you were doing some catering and cooking as well, some cleaning, construction. You did so many things when you were just a kid.
Well, that's hoping that started later on in life. My mother was a maid, and my grandmother, they worked hard. So I learned when I was a young boy how to cut grass and walk dogs and do all of those sundry of slavery jobs as a young kid. And to 1942, when World War II started, I had to volunteer in the service to go to fight the Germans in the war, from high school, from Cambridge, high in Latin.
And you signed up for the war, but with, kind of different expectations initially, right? You thought you would go serve your country, and that was, I don't know, maybe just kind of like a young idea. So when you arrived there and you saw, the conditions of the other soldiers, you saw how people treated each other, between Americans, between black soldiers from the North and black soldiers from the South. Tell us about that experience.
Interesting. Between the North and the South is the same as between the North and the South in education and the military. I was just turned to be 17 years old when World War II started, and I was drafted into the Army. But I met the Southern soldiers who did not like, and this term black on black, to the black Northern soldiers, so we didn't get along very, very well. So I was a young kid, so I had to learn about how to live and survive quickly, and that was one of the things that helped me to get through, I guess, to be here today, really, in that sense, because those days during the war were very brutal, and where it was, and let me put it this way, it was just ruthless. And here I was a young kid that's 17 years old with older men and also being in the Army with no education, it wasn't easy at all. So I am really, I would say, a survivor through all of this. And for that, I'm here today to say hi.
Yeah. And there were just so many different war stories that you shared with me. And I can't even imagine, some of the things that you've seen because, you've told me about, watching fellow soldiers, die in front of, either get shot down or drown in front of you, right? And even in training, even though you're on the same team with some of these soldiers, there was so much bullying and so much racism between black soldiers and between white soldiers, but even black and black soldiers. And so I remember another story you told me too. You had a colonel that was trying to push you to go to a certain part of France, and one of the team had just been sent there, and many of the troops had just been blown up essentially, and you stood up to him. So you stood up to this colonel, and you said that you weren't going to go there because the rest of the team had just been obliterated. And so, take us back to that moment where you stood up to this colonel, and you could have lost your rank, you could have been kicked out of the military, but you chose to stand up to this colonel. What happened?
Very interesting. Before the war or after the war? Before the war, I was still a kid. After the war, I became a man.
Yeah.
Really, to live to be 100, it's quite a story to be told. Survival, I would say, to become 100, because I'm perfectly healthy. But fighting life, fighting death, fighting prejudice, and fighting education in terms of, I live in Cambridge, but I didn't go to Harvard. I didn't go to MIT, but I had to learn very fast when it came discharged from the Army here 5 years later from 1942, fighting the Germans. So how do you be what you are today, as I think I am, what I am, and to have done so much? Coming back home from the war, I want to skip the war because that is an area where it was just death and killing, and surviving that is remarkable that I'm still here alive, because during the war I saw so much killing and death, and I survived all of that, came home. But coming home, and one story I should tell you, when I first bought my house here, and I said to the loan officer, "Sir, I need a mortgage to buy the property." He looked at me and said, "Well, that's the money you have is not enough to buy the property." I got sort of angry. The son said, "You've been angry enough during the war. Why now in civilian life be angry?" So I turned around and said, "Sir, I'm going to own my own bank." He laughed. 3 years later, I did found the first black bank here in Boston, Mass, One United. And, and that bank is still here today. Now, One United Bank has now bought all the small banks all the way across America, because now I'm retired now, but I'm very proud. My first job was to create economics and terms for minorities, for the community, and that did happen. As I look back, and as I look back on my life, I was meant to be here today at 100 years old. because what I have accomplished paid off to be here to do what I know best in the world of economics and helping others.
So founding the first black bank, that was one of the many things that you did, Marvin.
Right.
You also started the Western Front, which is a bit of how we got to know each other. You also invested in a lot of different real estate in the Boston area, and that was something that you learned from your mother as well, right? You didn't go to school for this. You don't have a business school degree. You don't have an MBA. You have many badges of honor, but how did you learn to do this as a young 20-something coming back from the war? You know, you must be really good at math in your head. You must be very good at negotiations and having allies, convincing people of your ideas. I mean, someone tells you no, you say, okay, I'm going to do it anyway. You start your own first black bank, right? But in order to do all of the different developments that you've done, whether it's been in real estate, education, in civics, you know, you have to have allies too, right? And so how did you befriend, how did you navigate, how did you learn how to navigate the world of business, the world of politics too, locally?
Well, where I'm sitting here now, downtown Boston, I got involved in real estate, number one. And I studied Boston very well because things that were not happening in the black community, the Southwest Corridor, under Mayor White, Mayor Flynn, Mayor Menino, and now I'm still working for the city of Boston, Mayor Wu. I have not retired yet at 100.
Still here today, working man.
Yet I live in Cambridge. They won't let me go, all right? I developed where I'm sitting right now, Boston University Biomedical School, Digital Corporation, Marvin Moore headquarters. It goes on and on. But basically to that, I think I would say to you, music was my best teacher. Yeah. The Western Front in Cambridge was I started way back in the early 60s playing music. Why music?
Well, your start in music was in the war as well.
Pardon?
Your start in music, even before you had the business,
Oh,
before
yeah.
Western Front, you were already playing music in the Army,
Yeah.
right? As a soldier.
Well, real estate, buying property,
Yeah.
developing property, not only in Cambridge, but also in Boston.
And then when you came back, you went to New England Conservatory.
I can hear you.
When you came back, you went to New England Conservatory for music.
I studied at New England Conservatory. There's so much in my life. I forget half what I've done because I already done it. My mother used to say one famous word, son, don't tell me what you're going to do. Tell me after you've done it. So in my life, I went to New England Conservatory here, actually right down the street. Last night I was at Berkeley. My son was honored at Berkeley last night. He was done 40 years at Berkeley, the world famous guitarist. I think he took after his father. So music was in my life, not only in the Army, but also at home. So I got my doctorate at New England Conservatory of Music last year. I think music is a way of smiling and in doing what you have to do, because you never guess what's going on in your mind. And I met all the great players in those days. I would say from Sammy Davis Jr., Duke Ellington, Sax, Louis Armstrong.
We have some photos here from your collection. It was hard to pick just a few photos, but I think we have Mr. Duke Ellington, we have the Armstrongs up there, we have B.B. King. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. There were so many greats that you have played alongside, not just you featured them at the Western Front, but you played alongside these greats.
Oh, I did.
I mean, these were your friends.
I'm still playing.
You invited your friends to the club, right? And that's, I mean, we can't even imagine what it's like to kind of time travel back and be with these greats. But how did you do that?
I just did it.
You just,
It's hard to say.
just called them up.
How one life is, what comes in me, I give out. And I attribute my life to music. I attribute my life to helping people. And I attribute my life having the ability to achieve what I've done through my life. How? I don't know, but I do. And that's so important in life. And years later, after I fought them at the Battle of Normandy Beach and survived, I've learned to use what I've learned to do to make things happen. And I've been very good. So a few years ago, I decided to write a book called
Yeah, Crusader for Freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like you.
Yes. Yeah, I figured it out. But let me give a little bit of history there. When I came home, I joined the NAACP to fight the injustice of us having in the South. So Bill Ross and I went down to Jackson, Mississippi to fight the Ku Klux Klan. The lesson I learned from being in Jackson, Mississippi was I did all of my fighting in Europe, the Germans and others. Why should I lose my life of crazies and not be able to continue my life what I thought I fought to the enemy? So that changed my life into business. So after even Jackson, Mississippi, I became a businessman. And then today I'm still, in a way.
And you went down there with Bill Russell. You were there with Nelson Mandela in Jackson, Mississippi, marching for civil rights.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you very well. I couldn't hear you.
And remember, a few years ago, when the Embrace statue at the Boston Common was revealed, we also have you with Martin Luther King Jr. III.
Man,
Yeah.
well, my name is really a good friend of Dr. Santarasa. My name is also engraved on the Boston Common.
In bronze, it's there, alongside 60 other African Americans who will be forever memorialized in the Boston Common.
Right. I was a good friend of Dr. It was just so much. I was a good friend.
And you're one of the few that are still alive. Many of them have passed.
Yes, yes.
And so, you know, the honors continue, and rightfully so, because you have continued to fight for civil rights. And, you know, even in this kind of day and age, it's something that we still have to wake up and fight for today, even with the injustices going on right now. And so I know that, you know, you've always told me and you've always taught me that for you, a lot of that drive, that inspiration, the will to continue to go on to fight and not be kind of bogged down and not become, you know, negative or sad or defeated. I know that for you, that drive comes from music and comes from love and compassion, your, you know, personal motivation for, you know, business and economic development to help your peers and help your community. And so that's really evident in a lot of the work that you've done, the legacy that you have continue to leave with us in Boston and in Cambridge. What would you say to young people who are getting started, or young people who want to make this kind of impact as well in their community? What do you say to young people these days? You're asked to give commencement speeches. This guy is highly desirable for commencement speeches at Brandeis, LaSalle, UMass, you know? So what do you tell these young people?
Well, it's hard to talk to young people. The ability for them to listen well and do well, it is difficult. What I would say to young people, first, be humble, because you don't know it all. And I think maybe my success, I always listen, I'm always humble, and always keep a smile on my face. It's so important. I do meet a lot of young people on my travels all over the country, and I say to them, stop, look, and listen. And that will get you somewhere. You're not a smart person. You think you know it, but you haven't had the temperament nor the time of life to learn what I have learned. It's taken me 100 years, and I'm still learning. It's so important. And today is a day of remembrance of the past, the present, and the future. And I'm not very happy, having fought 5 years in the Army and seen so much of my comrade who passed away, and then to come back and see another war around the corner. I thought it was over, but it looks like it is still continuing. So for the young people, get your education, be humble, and be respectful, be honest, and that will carry a long way as of today.
Well said. And I want to also let the audience know here that we brought Marvin one of your recipes. Remember when you shared with me some of your recipes?
Yeah.
So you just let people know what the recipe for the young people was, but I actually brought some of your okra.
Yeah, well, that's a southern
Braised
dish.
okra. So I hope they like it. We have a tray full here. There's bowls that people can come taste. So is this your recipe, or is this your mom's recipe, or is this your chef's? Whose recipe is this? Tell me a bit. The okra. Do you remember?
I remember folk would tell me, well, my mother was an excellent chef. And during the Army, all we had was C ration and K ration and little tiny cans. So coming home, Mother said, I'm going to teach you how to cook. And she did. And I'm still cooking at home, enjoying my food rather than buying, in the stores, food already there. But now I do my own cooking. And then I met Tracy Chang here, another one. So I'm learning from her food by eating it, and it's so excellent. And I'm so proud of Tracy. When I first met her about 5 years ago, and
More. 5 years ago? More than 5 years ago.
Well,
My restaurant's been open for 9 years now. We
well,
met
I didn't be
11
about 100 years. But time flies.
Time flies.
100 years, let me just say to all of you, 100 years, hopefully, you have done something in your life that you're proud of in the 100 years. I was meant to be here. Nothing happened by chance. It just doesn't happen. There's a reason for everything, all right? There's a reason when I fought in France during the Normandy, the Bulls, and there's a reason why I was protected by the general or the soldiers. there's a reason I'm alive, even though I was wounded. But I'm still here today at this library talking to you. Not many of us left. And I know what war is. I just hope, and I thought America fighting and the soldiers that give up their lives, that we have learned something. Apparently, we haven't learned anything. And it's a bitter pill to swallow today, right? Because so many of my fellow soldiers who came from Boston, New Orleans, Cambridge, are no longer here. But in my life, I still want to carry the torch in a positive manner, and I hope that what's happening today will not happen again, and I hope somehow or another this so-called war will end it.
Well said, Marvin.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so when we think about some of the work that you're still working on today, right? You are 101 and you are still getting up every morning and you are still actively working, not retired, still actively working. You have, the Western Front has since retired, right? You've closed the Western Front. And actually how we got to know each other was because your liquor license for the Western Front ended up getting transferred over to my landlords, and we met because you wanted to check me out, right? You had to approve that this was the right suitor for your liquor license. So, our relationship is kind of interesting because, I own the liquor license that once was the liquor license for the Western Front. And so I think ever since day one, since you gave me this book, since I shook your hand and we had sandwiches at the S&S, do you remember that? In Inman Square. I've felt not only a connection to you personally, but I have felt also an immense responsibility to do good because I'm carrying on, your legacy with this liquor license. I'm not that superstitious, but I'm a little bit superstitious. And so, some of your other continued work now beyond, the legacy of the Western Front. The Western Front now, that name is the cannabis shop that you have, right? You have the 2 cannabis locations, and you're still actively involved in real estate as well.
The cannabis, let me just say the cannabis, the name itself doesn't really mean drug. What the role that I play in the cannabis business was to train young women and men who've been incarcerated in prison who came home to make a better life. So having to train them to become better people, to be clerks, to learn how to have a job, have to make money, take care of their families, rather be out in the street with drugs, shooting, killing, and fighting. I opened up a shop in South Street, one in Central Square, one at Harvard Square, to help others who don't have an opportunity to be really somebody in the workforce, such as clerks, such as learn how to take numbers, how to measure, so many different ways, rather be out there fighting, robbing people. So that's the role that when I opened the 3 places to train kids to be somebody, my opportunity was tough in the years when I, as a little child growing up here in this city trying to find a role to play. Nobody helped me. If I didn't have a good mother, I would not be sitting here today. Because she taught me all the right things, and I led them very, very well. Today, it's hard for young kids to learn about obedience. It's hard for young kids who don't get a chance to be somebody. It's difficult. It's very, very difficult. So if I could do it, using the cannabis as a way for them not to be into drugs, that's the role that I play. And the cannabis business, I just signed my second role after 5 or 6 years. In the paper this morning before I got here, so I'll still be in the business from a legal point of view. And so I'm very happy to see that the young men who work under me have done so well, and they got homes, some bought cars today, and they hug me and they kiss me, and I love them both. So that's my role that I play. I have never, interesting, I have never smoked a cigarette in my life.
Yeah.
Never have. And I'm on a club that folks smoke the weed, they call it. And otherwise, I would not be sitting here talking to you today. My eyes are clear, my brain is clear.
Very healthy. And your skin, what is the secret to your skincare?
And my life is perfect.
Just water and soap.
So I am the example. But if I had been involved in all of that, I would not be sitting here before you.
And you do like a good margarita.
100 years don't have you sitting, 100 say goodbye, long time ago.
Yeah. Wonderful.
I am a survivor. Thank you. Thank you.
And your family now, your sons, David and Mark, and their children as well, they're carrying on your legacy. They are very talented musicians. Can you tell us a bit? You mentioned earlier that David is now many years at Berkeley, still teaching, but both David and Mark are active musicians. They go on tour. They are around the world. Sometimes they take you along, and so are you proud of them? Are you proud of your sons?
I am proud. Last night, my son just received his 20 years at Berkeley, world famous guitarist. I was here at the Harvard Club, where they presented an award to him, 20 years of playing. He's all over the world. My little son lives in Sweden. He's a drummer. I'm very proud of him. And my daughter also in the field of medical. She's retired now at her age. Very, very famous. So I've raised 3 beautiful children. My wife, unfortunately, passed away about 15 years ago, but she gave me 3 talented, beautiful children. And maybe that's why I'm still here, you know, being very proud what she left me and what I still have to take care of with love. And I just want to say to all of you, keep a smile on your face and love. And I think love is what carried me through my life in spite of. My life has not been easy. It's been tough. The war was tough. Coming home with no education was tough. And then today, in this world, it is still tough. And I'm still working. I'm still sitting here talking to all of you what it takes to be someone. Prejudice to me is a pastime word. Make love, not war. And I wish the world learned to make love, because if that wasn't the case, two words cannot express my feeling. And maybe this will carry me through my life and to my success. And, but it brings tears to my eyes what I had to go through and endure to be here with Tracy Chang, to all of you in the audience, to a soldier who had reached the pinnacle years of life at 100. It's a rarity. Only a few of us are still around. I read in the Globe the other day, one was the year of 106 years, and he was still smiling. So I'm going to follow his footsteps. But to all of you here, make love, not war.
Well said, Marvin. Thank you so much. We're so lucky that Marvin Gilmore, who is a Renaissance man, a jack of all trades, so many trades, opened the first black bank. He was a soldier in World War II at Utah Beach on D-Day. Marvin has started so many businesses and has made incredible social impact here in Cambridge and in Boston. And we're so lucky to have you here on GBH Amplifies. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.
If you have questions for Marvin, he'll be here with us. And please enjoy his family recipe here. We have the braised stewed okra here, a recipe of his mother's, who is a wonderful cook, a lovely way to remember her. And so thank you for joining us today on GBH Amplifies. I am Tracy Chang, chef owner of Pagu Restaurant in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Thank you to our entire GBH production team, including Sandra Lopez-Burke, Lauren Herbert, Juan Jose Cadena Dueñas, Maddie Geyer, and Steve Baracci. Join us here next month for another GBH Amplifies on April 23rd. Cheers.